Followers of Republican presidential hopeful Donald Trump gathered in Louisville, Kentucky, following his successful night at Super Tuesday. What happened at the rally to a young African-American female protester who says she was there simply holding up signs. It has been reported that Trump instructed his security to escort them out, and that's when this happened. MotherJones.com posted the video. Please take a look. You can see several men repeatedly shoving the woman to get her to leave the rally. This is so disturbing. I said I hate talking about, we are obviously going to address it, but it's sad that this is even happening. So, Tamar, what do you think about what happened at the Trump rally?
I mean, listen, my nerves are completely on probation because, you know, this tape didn't play Trump actually telling the girl, get out. Like, first and foremost, I feel like if you're a racist of any kind, you should not be able to run for presidency.
That's not what this country is supposed to stand for at all. With liberty and justice for all.
And we are a melting pot. Like, for me, it's so disturbing and disgusting because there's white people in my family, Mexican kids running around the house with Trina and them. And it's just like, no, they in my family. No, really. And it's like, we don't talk about, you know, you're black, you're white, you're Mexican, you're other. We don't do that. Everybody is all one and the same.
Yes.
And I'm just disgusted that somebody who's running for president, you're not even in the House yet. Let's just say God forbid.
God forbid.
You become the leader of the free world.
Country.
And you are already setting the standard of how you're going to run. You are a racist. You already are showing everybody who you are. You might as well come out and say white power. You might as well go ahead and do it because that's what you're doing.
I just couldn't even believe it. They said people were in neo-Nazi uniforms at the rally. And I just can't imagine that you would even condone that or speak up and say, that's not what I stand for. I don't appreciate that. That's not. But he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that that's not what he stands for.
Well, by the time this show airs, a lot of things will have transpired. I think one thing at his rallies, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you are a protester, he tends to say, get out. And then that makes the crowd go crazy.
So you're saying this is what he does? This is not the first time this has happened?
He's been kicking out protesters since the beginning of his rallies. You know, once he says get out, then everybody kind of like, it draws attention.
And guess what? Just like Tam says, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You never lay hands on somebody when they don't deserve it like that. You never say something. You don't talk to somebody like they're a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think the thing is that if you go to his rallies and you criticize him, he can't stand the criticism. So he tends to, say, get out, and then everybody's like, yeah, and then they get out. But the most important thing about this whole thing is this is why this election is very, very important. It's important that you go to the primaries, register to vote so that you have a voice.
Period.
It's very important. That's it.
I feel like it's important to tell the young people out there, and you could say I'll take it, but I'm going to be honest. Politics is not my forte. I probably am not as interested. I'm not caught up on every CNN debate. That is honest. So I come to, Lonnie and you a lot of the time, you guys are super up to date with everything, and I ask. But if I'm honest, when I saw this video, it made me so outraged that I was like, I have to find out what's going on. Because God forbid, if I just sit back lackadaisical and I'm like, oh, this doesn't affect me, whatever, whoever's going to be our president, someone like Donald Trump could end up being the leader of our country.
And just think about
it woke me up to be like, yo, watch the CNN debates, educate yourself. You gotta find out what is going on.
Well, it's not even
this ain't it.
That ain't it.
This is not it.
We're talking about we're being nostalgic about the 80s. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Instagram in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now we have that. So this is the reason why we're able to catch these types of things that's going on, So let's be thankful that as time goes,
I also think
we can improve on our technology, and you can use that. You don't necessarily have to watch the CNN debate.
Yeah.
increase your timeline. Follow the news sources.
Yeah.
You know, follow people that, you know, are honest journalists. You know, follow those people if you don't necessarily want to look at the news. You know,
You're super quiet.
all
Do you have
kind of
anything to
things out
say,
there.
friend?
I do. I think what concerned me were the guys' faces. They had faces of hate, bitterness, and disgust, and they even felt like they had the right to actually touch her and push her. So what this, I hope, does is spread the awareness that racism does still exist. However, I think the most dangerous kind of racism is quiet racism.
Yeah.
It's the people who think it's really cool to support the black people in public, but at home, they're still talking bad about them. And that is something that I think we really need to think about and be on top of the issue.
I'm not even talking about black people. I just want to, because this country is made up of all types
different
of people.
races.
We have to be very careful when we use that word.
Now, I don't have to be careful. I
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general.
I know what I saw. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But
And
no,
I know
but he's
anything
done
we
it
see.
to all types of people. That's what I'm saying. It's not just the black girl.
Yeah, but if we're talking
you know.
about this video in particular, because this is what the first thing that I saw of this fool. Fool. Yes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid.
It's other things out there.
I am not afraid.
It's
It made me feel a certain kind of way.
I
Go
just
ahead,
want to say
Jamie.
something really quick. I think it's not just the voting. That's very important. Everybody has to get up and go make their voices heard, because your voice matters in what could end up the future of our country. That's number one, yes. But number two, I think we all need to realize that racism is something that not all people understand. It might be because you've never experienced it. It might be because you weren't born during the civil rights movement. You don't understand that. Okay, fine. We need to empathize. Look at that young woman who is getting pushed. Feel what that must feel like to be pushed and to be shoved for whatever reason, the way you talk, the way you think, the way you look, and then think about those men. The way they looked in their face, the way they think, how their mama raised them, what their grandmother said, taught them to be a certain type of person. So now what's important is that we have to use your voices, whether it's in your classroom, at home with your mama, with your neighbors, have the conversation that is still happening today.
Period.
And change that. Talk about it with your family.
Come on, somebody.
Empathize with one another.